What you're about to hear doesn't make sense. Just seconds after takeoff, both engines of a modern Boeing 787 suddenly lost power. Not because of failure, not because of weather, but because the fuel was cut off. And inside the cockpit, one pilot asked, "Why did you do that?" The other replied, "I didn't." So if neither pilot did it, who did? Set up June 12, 2025, Ahmedabad International Airport. A normal day. Clear skies, light wind, everything was perfect. Passengers were boarding. Planes were taking off every few minutes. And among them was Air India Flight AI171, a Boeing 787 Dreamliner, flying from Ahmedabad to London. 230 passengers on board. 2 experienced pilots in the cockpit. Nothing unusual. In fact, this exact aircraft had just landed from Delhi 2 hours earlier. No major issues, no warnings. Everything was normal. The pilots in command, Captain Sumit Sabharwal, 15,000 plus hours of flight experience. Beside him, First Officer Clive Kunder, young but fully qualified. Both passed medical checks, both cleared for flight. No signs of stress, no signs of trouble. Takeoff 1:37 p.m. The engines roar. The aircraft accelerates down the runway. Speed builds. V1, decision speed, no turning back. VR, rotate. And then, liftoff. Everything is smooth. Everything is perfect. For about 3 seconds, the moment everything changed, at 180 knots, something impossible happens. Both engine fuel switches are moved from run to cutoff, one after the other, within 1 second. Fuel supply, gone. Engines, dying. Thrust, collapsing. And then, the cockpit voice recorder captures this. "Why did you cut the fuel?" "I didn't." Chaos in the sky. Seconds after liftoff, the aircraft begins losing power. A small emergency turbine deploys, a last resort system that only activates when engines fail. The plane is now falling. Inside the cockpit, confusion, panic, but not silence. At 1:39 p.m., a distress call is sent. Mayday. Just one word. Then, nothing. The crash moments later. The aircraft crashes outside the airport boundary. First impact, a building, then a hostel. Debris scattered across hundreds of meters. 241 people on board. Almost all gone. Only one person survives. The investigation, 5:40 to 7. Now here's where it gets disturbing. Investigators found engines were working perfectly. Fuel was clean. Weather was clear. No mechanical failure before takeoff. And most importantly, the fuel switches, they were found back in the run position, meaning someone turned them off and then tried to turn them back on, the biggest mystery. Here's what makes this case terrifying. These switches cannot be turned off accidentally. They require deliberate action, 2-step movement, physical force. And yet, both switches were turned off within 1 second of each other. That's not random, that's not coincidence. That looks like human action. But both pilots denied doing it. Could it be intentional? History has seen pilots crash planes on purpose. Germanwings, 952-5LAM, 47, 0 Silkair, 185. In those cases, pilots stopped responding. But here, the pilots tried to recover. They turned the switches back on. They sent a mayday call. They pulled the nose up, trying to save the aircraft. That's not suicide. That's survival. So now we're left with a question no one can answer. If the pilots didn't do it, and the system wasn't supposed to fail, then how did both fuel switches shut off at the worst possible moment? Was it a hidden design flaw? A rare mechanical glitch? Or something we still don't understand? One flight. 7 seconds. and a mystery that still haunts aviation experts. What do you think happened? Tell me in the comments. And if you want more dark, real stories like this, subscribe to Dark Reality.